I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:32 in absence of J.D. Miller. J.D. called me a couple of days ago and asked me if I could chair the meeting, so I was happy to do it for him. So we'll do that for today. And why don't we start here and go around the room and everybody can introduce themselves.
Janice Desmond, board member.
Leslie James, board member.
Ellen Schwansky, board member. Joan Powers, liaison for South Elder Services.
Elaine Simbari, liaison for the Scituate Commission on Disabilities.
Betty Johnson, liaison with FOSS.
Jean Sullivan, transportation coordinator.
Mario Tu, liaison from the Board of Selectmen.
Audrey Reedy, board member.
Janice Lemblon, board member.
Lucille Sorrentino, board member.
Linda Hayes, director of the Senior Center.
Gordon Price, vice chairman, chairing tonight's meeting. Well, thank you all for coming. Nice to have a full room.
Yeah.
Don't remember when we had so many people at a meeting. Great. And thank you for those people who are watching on cable. So you have the meeting minutes in front of you from September. You've reviewed them, and if you haven't, give them a quick look over and let us know if you have any additions, corrections.
I have to change Audrey to being
Present.
Present.
Okay.
I was here last week. I was the quiet corner and nobody recognized me.
I don't remember. I remember.
All right, we'll note that.
I wasn't. I've got the advisories, which is Thursday night, so it depends on the...
Oh,
depends
so
on-
if we miss our week, then
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
Yeah. So it just depends, you know, and right now it's been busy for advisory.
Okay. Everybody go with the meeting minutes? I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes of September.
I make a motion to accept the
For a
minutes.
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll turn the meeting over to Linda for her reports.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome, and just, although she introduced herself, let me again introduce Jean Sullivan, who is our new transportation coordinator. Well, new as of August, so she's been working really hard since August at the role of transportation coordinator, which is a full-time, very busy role. So I commend her for really the first 2 months under the gun, jumping right in. Q had already retired, and we did have some help. Of course, Jill had always backed her up anyway, but recently we've even had Q come in because there was just some need for a lot of the numbers that have to be reported to the state and various groups that we get funding from. So, so we've seen her lately too. But anyway, very happy to have Jean, and she just, her turn to attend a meeting and let you get acquainted there. So, activities of note, I guess, I wanted to start with in my report, the Aging Mastery Program, which I've talked about before. It started September 22nd. It's 10 weeks, so we just had our 5th week today, or 4th week today, sorry. And it's great. We had 24 sign up, and you know, there's always a little bit of a fall off right away. Maybe the first meeting, they're not sure what they're getting into. And they can miss 1 or 2 and still complete the 10. But the topic sequence has been the first meeting, dealt with longevity and the gift of time and gratitude, really just trying to live life to its best. Healthy eating, hydration, falls prevention, improving sleep was today, and then we continue next week with exercise and mindfulness. Advanced planning, healthy relationships, having good communication, medication management, financial fitness, and community engagement last. So those are the 10 topics. And it's just worth mentioning, our speakers come to us really, some are local and community persons who are happy to share with us and have some expertise, nutrition and medical and exercise professionals that we call on, and they're happy to come. We're not paying anyone to do that, and it's really nice of them to bring that. A local attorney, a pharmacist. We have North Scituate Pharmacy coming for the medication management. Our own staff social worker is talking one of the days. But it's a nice program and good for them to know what some resources are, and the resources themselves really have been great. So good expertise, and it's a great program. We did have the COA board training with Emmett Schmarzo from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. That was last Friday. Seems like ages ago. No, it was 2 weeks ago, actually. That went fast. The number of different board attendees included Cohasset, several actually, 7 or 8. Duxbury had one, Avon, Kingston, Norwell, Plymouth, Marshfield, and Scituate, so we were represented. JD had come, Janice, Lindblom, and Helen. So there were 22 in attendance. I think it was great. He's always great to listen to. He speaks a bit, tells some stories, and then is good at facilitating or soliciting everybody else's opinions and different methods for doing certain things. So I think all in all, did you get something out of it?
Yes, you did. Yeah, it's very good.
The Singing Trooper was that same night, Friday, September 30th at St. Mary's, the Senior Center, working with FOSS to help coordinate the event alongside with staff. Several volunteers helped with ticket sales and purchasing and decorating and greeting and serving and cleanup for that matter. So it was a really super night. We had 146, well, we sold 146 tickets plus volunteers for eating and sitting, and the trooper himself brought his wife, which we hadn't known he was going to, and she's an operatic singer, so she actually was fabulous. And I will say I had forgotten, I mean, I've had him before and heard him a couple of times, but I forgot how he made people feel, which was really the best part of the program. I think the songs were great, everything was great, but it was just the whole energy in the room, and I think he really got to a lot of people, and Gordon was there.
He's a great entertainer.
Yeah, great entertainer.
Rave reviews.
Wonderful. So very happy with the way that went off. Dinner was catered by Chef's Table, you know, which does a great job. That was a lot of people to have to deliver the food. That's just one of the drawbacks of how we have to do it, I guess, or at least the way we did it. But we get it out. It was great. And I think we might have made 500 or 600 between, you know, the organizations themselves. So I think the way FOSS is doing it is they're maintaining 2 different accounts with when the funds get deposited for them. So one will be toward their building fund, and one will sort of stay available for any needs we might have. So it wasn't a big profit, but it couldn't have been. The entertainment was expensive. The dinner was relatively expensive to do. And the bar didn't really make a lot of money. Taylor Tibbetts from Riverside Liquors donated a little bit, you know, of some of the top, the water, and his insurance, which we would have had to pay for otherwise. So that was all good. We had to pay for $50 for the permit for the bar, and then it would have been $75 for the insurance, which he carries, but he paid for it. But he didn't make us do that. And then the bartenders themselves by the hour. So we had $40 an hour times 2. Anyway, we didn't expect to make a lot of money on that, but it was great. So office updates, our dishwasher is in the kitchen. It might be installed tomorrow or next week, but we'll see how that works out. We need both a plumber and an electrician to get that in there. We had another volunteer, Dennis Cody, who's helping to sort of manage and assist in the kitchen for events and different activities that require the kitchen. He also attended the Surf Safe training that I did, and he got his certification. So we're going to make him the primary. GATRA, I had met, this has been ongoing, of course, but I met again this past month with Frank Gay and Nancy Holt in Trish's place, our town administrator, just for a new proposal to get the route expanded. It's been stalled for, I think I might have explained at another meeting, for ADA reasons. We just didn't know what we could do and what we had money for, and actually Marty will hear this at next Tuesday's Board of Selectmen meeting direct from GATRA. But they came up with a great plan that would accommodate the requirements we would have for ADA without burdening the COA at all, or further requiring any additional funding than what we have in the budget and what the sloop is currently costing. So it's a win-win, really.
What they're basically is opening up the route a little bit, right, so that they have a little bit more time?
It's called a deviated route, so they can leave the route in a set way. But,
right. Where they can go and do a pickup for somebody if they need it.
Because the ADA requirement is that that's disabled that can't get to the route need to be accommodated during the hours that the sloop is, as Elaine would know, operating. And either we were going to have to pick up those extra hours and either somehow hire dispatch or, involve a contract, which would have cost more money than we were getting. So this is a great, but that will allow, not just if it all gets approved and if it all sounds as good as if it is as good as it sounds, then that should clear the way for the expansion into North Scituate and Lincoln Park, which everyone has been waiting for. So that's good news. Tax work-off, just to mention, so October, November, even, I have a little more cushion, is when hours are submitted for those who have been working, the 100 hours for the $1,000 reduction in their taxes. So then I just simply submit all those completed hours to the tax collector's office. Comes off their next tax bill. And then there's a new cycle, so I will be communicating with departments, seeing what positions there are available and how many I can fill with people that are interested in that program. So senior tax work-off program, 65, even 62 and up, for what we hope would be 100 hours of work for a $1,000 reduction in their taxes. And I'm hoping to actually have one here. I think I can work that out now, and various departments are having them. We probably had 9 or 10 in positions this past cycle. So. I spoke at the Rotary Club's weekly meeting on September 21st, just to mention, and hopefully, I think I was selling. I was kind of selling. So I hope I got a few new advocates for us, support. I really, honestly, just thought, might as well say, why do we need a new senior center? That's basically what I talked about. So I think they agreed by the time I was finished. I think they were pulling me off with one of those canes. November 8th is Election Day. We do or can make our van available and have told our riders, as Jean probably could mention, but I don't think we have anyone yet, but we've even had offers from volunteer drivers who would drive people to the polls. But at the same time, and it's in this book, we had a bunch, I think we're down to really our last ones, but in here it tells, this is the large print edition, which of course we like. Early ballots and absentee ballots are also available, but we'll bring people to the poll if they need it. So they just need to call us, Jean?
So the seniors that can't get to voting,
Mm-hmm.
is somebody getting them the absentee ballot?
If they want, and they can call us for
Okay.
that. I mean, that's something we could do. We could either help them download it online, or get them from... Yeah. Oh, and maybe that is the early, there's a form for early voting, that's one thing, and then it's the absentee ballot, I think. And if not, yes, we could get it.
Linda, question.
Yep.
Has the senior van ever been available for town meetings? Is that something that you've ever heard that there was a call for, a demand for? Or
I haven't heard there was a demand. I don't remember. Well, we haven't done it. If that's because there was never a request for it. I mean, we would. Why? I guess we would. Of course, we would. And we do the monthly St. Luke's dinner, so it's not like they wouldn't come out at night for that. Of course, it's open-ended. Some of them have been late.
Yeah.
But yes.
It was actually 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So, yes, we could do that, and when the time comes, I'm sure that could be a good opportunity.
I think it'd be a big deal for the special that's coming up.
Right.
For a regular town meeting.
Right,
I guess
which is
something-
October 19th, which is next Wednesday night, of course. Speaking of that, October 19th, next Wednesday morning, here at the Senior Center at 11, is a legislative government issues talk. It'd be great to have a good showing, and it didn't get into the Mariner this week, but it was in last week so Jim Cantwell, the current newest state senator, Patrick O'Connor, who is running again, but is the incumbent, having filled Bob Headland's seat. And then they invited the secretary for the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, and she's been in that position for, I think, now 2 years, maybe just. We'd had the previous secretary come, thanks to Jim, to our health fair, I think, 2 years ago. But so this woman, Ann Bonner, it's a big deal that she is making it down here. And someone from the Attorney General's office is also coming. So,
Wow.
What time again was that?
11. So they plan an hour. In the report, I just put the sample agenda they gave me. She had asked certainly what we might like her to talk about, and initially my feelings certainly were any sort of funding available, any kinds of revisions to funding. that we might be able to take advantage of that we don't know about, but also some Medicare and other issues involving medical or health insurance. And she's involved a lot in caregiver issues and Alzheimer's, so it might be interesting to hear what's on the horizon for some of the initiatives from the state. So that, I hope we get a lot of people to attend. So pass the word, spread it around if you could. We'll do a voice broadcast and maybe as much as we can on our end. November 26th through 28th, so 2 weeks from now, is the MCOA, Mass Council on Aging Conference. And I just, because I could, I put the website up here on our beautiful television and Apple TV connection, so this is wireless from my iPad. But this is the website, so mcoaonline.com, which I put in my report as well, if you wanted to go on and just see. This is just an example, and again, any of you would be welcome to attend if you wanted to. So Wednesday's sessions are described, and this first one even is great. This is part of the Aging Mastery, and a woman who started working with the Duxbury Senior Center is doing this because she conceived of this elective course called Bucket List. So she's describing that just so that people can take advantage of it and know how to, creating an age-friendly community, where to start, which is something I'm interested in for here. So, I mean, not that we don't already have one, but just to help reinforce that. And then I did think I'd mention, as I just scroll a little bit so you know what it looks like, but, where is it? Shoot. The man and woman possibly, maybe I passed this already. I bet I did. Sorry, that figures. But Lee Shore, who we had talk back in April about cluttering and hoarding issues and solving them, he is going to be there, which really will be fantastic. But it might, planning for drive. Anyway, he is here somewhere. I thought I had it. So anyway, if anybody is interested, and I certainly could print this out, but there's 50 pages, so I chose not to. Oh, starting and sustaining a memory cafe, and actually I did print these out for you. This is two-sided, just because Pembroke Council on Aging is doing that, a memory cafe. And it's a very informal idea somewhat, but monthly, so that it's an opportunity to bring in certain activities that are geared towards people with dementia or Alzheimer's, just to stimulate and maybe come with a caregiver or maybe be a respite. So if anybody's interested, I just printed those out for you, but that is also going to be described and discussed at the conference, which also would be interesting. So just some ideas. It's 3 days. I will probably go Wednesday and Thursday, but not Friday. So it's online if anybody's interested. And then lastly, I might mention the Scituate Education Foundation, because Katina Bentley had come and talked to us about their goals and hoping that they could be, at some point, a resource for even Seniors Council on Aging for certain educational initiatives. Anyway, so she's come to me a couple of times, or us, and this time they are doing, on November 8th, on Election Day, they're doing a field trip, so to speak, to Foxborough's Patriot Place, and sponsoring a paint day, you know, the fun paint days that they have now, where they're guided through a painting and everybody looks like an artist. So I've done one, and we had one here. People really did enjoy it the night we had it here. So the one thing we need to do is obviously provide transportation for any of our seniors who might be interested in going, and then the Scituate Education Foundation wanted to subsidize that. So they'll pay for the gas, let's say, whatever it sort of costs us out of pocket. But we have, not sure if we'd use the 12-person van or the 14-person van at this point. But we will try to advertise that and do that so it's multi-generational, because they have students going, at least through middle school, elementary, middle school students going as well, and we could turn it into a shopping day. Don't get to Patriot Place that often. So,
Question, the conference in Falmouth, that's Thanksgiving?
did I say November? Because it's October.
Oh, it says right here.
I
it says
did say November.
October.
Well, that's because I'm jumping between October and November.
Okay, that makes a lot more
Activities, it
sense.
certainly does. My fault, sorry about that, thank you. And then I'm working on November's newsletter at the same time as this. So there's a lot of November in my mind, and December for that matter. Of course, I realize it's Christmas even when I do the newsletter. So it should be done this week, early next week at the latest. But we do have the new format, so I did sort of get a somewhat new template from liturgical and had to redesign a couple of things. We want a little extra space, not a whole lot of space. We should have color on the front and back. We'll see how the first issue comes out for this change. Also, I wanted to mention Tuesday, November 1st is a session here, an informational session here with Norman Tetro, our Shine volunteer extraordinaire, who in the past has been able to meet or has tried to meet with as many people as he could one-on-one. And he just can't do that, and they have discouraged that through the Shine entity. So he's been sort of encouraged, or told, to just hold an information session so that everybody gets the same information at the same time. That is Tuesday, November 1st at 1 o'clock here. So it's open enrollment for the Medicare changes for your Part D drug plan. People are also able to grab a form here, fill it out, bring it back here. Norman will do the search, when he can't sleep at midnight, and then it can either be mailed back to them or they can pick it up here. So he's still facilitating and doing an awful lot, but this is the opportunity to have questions answered or to hear information firsthand from him.
It's a great service because to most people, me included, this whole process is very confusing.
Crazy. There's so
Yeah.
much.
It's not easy to wade through it.
No, it's fantastic to have that. And that was all, that funding was almost cut, and then they saved it in the legislature this year, but it was almost cut, and basically that supports, I think, the people that do run the program and also the training, because let's say we lost Norman, God forbid, we would need another volunteer or two to train and to be able to provide that service. So they do that regularly. So that was good. So I can move on
have
on
a
my own
question.
report. Sorry?
The gingerbread house contest, when is that?
Oh, did I? I started to talk about that and then I didn't.
An SH, Scituate High Band?
Situate Harbor Business Association. So they called nicely, just really this week,
Business Association.
Business
Yeah,
Association.
they do this, they do it every year.
Apparently, and I have
Yeah.
never seen it, but
Yeah. I was a
Sandy...
judge one year.
Lighthouses and everything.
I was a judge 2 years.
Okay, well, I get to be a judge this year, I guess. And we said we would do one here to submit.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's a conflict, but anyway.
I was
But-
thinking that, I was thinking you're going to submit one.
I don't know, I guess maybe, well, we talked about that. But anyway, the bigger news really is that I guess they had discussed and voted at their last meeting that they wanted to donate the money from this, or whatever is generated, to the Friends of Scituate Seniors. So,
When does it happen?
December 2nd is when all the gingerbread houses are delivered to the Mill Wharf Restaurant, and then they're displayed for 3 days there. And it's voted on December 4th, I think, I guess. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, yes. So that is in my report. So I guess I did include a page in the reports there that just shows some numbers for our events, our categories. So community education really involves, which it says we had 50 unduplicated attendees, but 73 comings and goings for various things. So that includes the Aging Mastery Program, our cafe talks. We have the classical music class going on right now. And we also have Bob Jackman's local history course going on right now, and that got into a different category. So sometimes there's some confusion on what categories things fall into, instructional or community education. So that takes some work in the system. It's obviously driven by us, operator. But also recreation, we have a lot of people doing stuff in recreation. Pickleball, badminton has started. What else do we have for recreation? Our movies are picking up as well. We have an afternoon bridge as well as Tuesday Mahjong. And I will just mention that in terms of programs that we've seen really catch on, Mahjong is very happy to be here. They come early, we have to kick them out. And, same with pickleball, really up to 16 at least. And I think badminton has started pretty strong, and they might even be trading a little bit of players into each, because we got a second night, which is Wednesday. So Monday and Wednesday at Jenkins School, our, COA, we have pickleball, Mondays at 4 to 6, and then pickleball, and then badminton Wednesdays 4 to 6 and 6 to 8.
This is a funny little thing. This is
Mhm.
something I heard on the radio. I've heard it twice now.
Mm-hmm.
The name, do you know where pickleball came from?
I have heard the story about the dog named Pickle.
They kept stealing the ball?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure someone else heard that besides me.
That is true, that actually is true, I know, people do come up with, like, it can't be that.
Pickleball.
Can't be that simple, and that was only like in 2000.
Right.
So
And
it's
they
not
had
that
a
long ago.
national conference in Florida.
Yeah,
Really?
it's, people don't believe that it's sweeping the nation, but it's right. There's some people who still think they won't do it, but people really do. And the funny thing is, actually, I don't know how the high school got a hold of this, but the high school teaches that as a section of their gym classes.
No kidding.
Pickleball, they do. So the kids know how to play, which is why originally I tried to get kids interested in community service to maybe take part, but it's all right.
Yeah.
We're good on their own. So if you have any questions on any of the numbers, obviously, exercise is great for us. People are, always coming in for that, whether it's exercise classes here or at St. Luke's. Tai Chi is at St. Mary's.
What's a swipe?
A scan on the system. Swipe or scan, same.
So how do you, when you have the exercise classes off-site, how is that, do they just keep track of who shows up?
Yeah, so that's not easy, and
like-
that's why our numbers aren't, I could tell you right now, I'm supposed to come back from Tai Chi and put them in, and I just sometimes don't get to it right away. Betty sends me pickleball. Yoga comes in with their names, and we try to get them in manually, but it's
So this is the minimum?
right. We do that, we do it manually, but we are missing numbers without a doubt. Our monthly reports for outreach, Jenny's and Laura's are both here. So Laura, remember, is sending just a quarterly report for July, August, and September. So clients she met with or visited or assisted 55 plus. And you can see the various categories on hers. So this is social services, and it runs the gamut, really. Whether it's through the health department that she gets clients, or whether it's through the COA or fire department, as well as sometimes the police. And then the SHRT, hoarding response team, is still active and is beginning their second round of support groups next week for the cluttering, decluttering. 2 of the support groups, one will be here Tuesday nights for 8 weeks, and one will be at St. Mary's during the day for 8 weeks. And a third one will be peer-led, which is a new type of training. And actually, that was funded through the Executive Office of Elder Affairs and MCOA. And a couple of our people involved in the Scituate group from June wanted to be trained, and so they're helping to lead this group as well. That will be at the Congregational Church. But they all need to be signed up for because they're limiting the numbers for those. Laura mentions the activity on the Friendly Visitor Program, which is close, really close. And she's still obviously leading the caregiver support group, and we're always hoping to expand that. That meets monthly, the third Wednesday at St. Mary's as well. Jenny's numbers, assisting people with food assistance, housing applications, fuel assistance, of course, that's starting. Mass Health or Medicare questions herself, transportation, veterans. She is meeting with Don Knapp, who's our veterans agent in town, just so that they both can exchange and know who they're helping or are on the same page with resources. Jenny goes to the housing authorities, really there's 4, because Wheeler Park has 2 different sections, so she goes to each of those, and Central and Lincoln once a month for an hour, and hopes to meet with people who aren't coming here necessarily to do that, and just get them involved or answer their questions.
Can I go back for just a quick second?
Yep.
I'm really interested in the Friendly Visitor Program. I think it's an excellent program. But is there any kind of like a query or anything, a check that's done on the people that go out to the homes?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely necessary. So that is something, either they've been a volunteer, and they have to do it every year now.
Year, or?
It was every 2 years, but I think it might be every year.
I just want
So yes, we do
assume
that.
so, but
Yeah, The only people that don't need to be queried, that sometimes, they don't go in the house either, would be the teens that might offer to go do yard
Shoveling and
work,
stuff like
or
that. Yeah.
if they come in
I don't even
here.
want to say shoveling, that's a bad word.
Not yet, anyway. So yes, we do run the queries on the volunteers, that would be pleasing. So then, last but not least, our transportation report, which, you know, Jean can talk about or answer your questions, but we did go back to Q's format, because Jean knew, and just knowing where to derive the numbers from, and how to sort of look at the comparisons and what to mention. So, like I said, she's doing a great job with a lot of activity. That phone doesn't stop ringing. But go ahead, if you just want to introduce
Don't have a lot to say.
what you've been doing. Yeah, that's fine. Hang on.
These
What
numbers
does-
actually look really low as I look at them. I'm going, wow, there's like 40 rides a day sometimes. You know,
Right, but they are split.
Yeah.
Is healthcare doctor's appointments? What
Yes.
is healthcare?
In the transportation report? Oh, you know what, you're looking, that is Jenny's report for outreach. So healthcare would be someone needing information, maybe on changing their healthcare, or what they need to do to submit something, or maybe they're having trouble paying something. But the transportation report is what we're looking at now for Jean. Oh, sorry. So it looks as though the August numbers were higher, and it's hard to say why that would be, actually, but, in the MAP program, we haven't really been using. I'm not sure, we're not necessarily out of money. That's only the $3,000 that we get from Social Elder Services, but if we're staying within the budget that we get from GATRA, then we don't necessarily have to dip into that. That's the 5-town collaborative. So let's say Hull, or Hingham for that matter, who doesn't have GATRA, might need that money a little more than we do. So Hugh had always kind of just known when, you know what, maybe if we were using a lot one month from our GATRA budget, then she might say, you know what, I'll use a couple of rides through the MAP program. Funny enough, it still runs through Social Community Action Council, which is very confusing. But they do a lot as an agency. And our regular rides are back up. You know, the congregational lunch at the church on Thursdays is back. It was not even there in August, so we didn't do that. But, so, it's a learning curve, transportation, which, because Q was in the job for so long and in it certainly before I even came, now I've had to learn more about the job than I may have had to before, so it actually has been pretty monopolizing. Would we say that?
Yes,
We
we're
say
learning
that.
together, yeah.
Transportation, it's all about transportation. Okay,
Yeah, I did a pickup today because, yeah, that's what happens here.
right. Well, that was very
Learning curve,
nice.
for sure.
It's probably one of the more highly used services that the Scituate provides, I would imagine.
You know, it really is.
It really benefits a lot of people.
I mean, we're at the point actually where there was 2 or 3 days maybe this month where we did put on two drivers and 2 vans, which we had not really ever had to do before. So, I guess that's good news, but it
Yeah.
is a little bit harder to manage. But if anybody has any questions,
Any questions of Linda on any of
answer?
her reports, or to Jean? No?
somebody else can talk. It's tired of
Well, we're
my
going to
voice.
let Joan talk next.
Okay. South Shore Elderly Services met on October 4th. And I'm just going to briefly go over what we did. Mass Health is going through reform and many changes. Medicare and Medicaid services have cut their budgets. Sandra met with the director of the South Shore Hospital, and South Shore Elderly Services is in good relationship with the South Shore Hospital. South Shore Elderly Services continues to grow. Mass Home Care Services, the 2016 Network Conference was held on October 13th. It was a workshop for employees. Cluster Awards event was held October 14th, and awards were given to homemakers. They still need more volunteers in their programs, including Meals on Wheels. And there was a handout from the State House, which is always from Michael Norton, who is a State House News Service. And the state's expecting approval of a Mass Health waiver before Obama departs. On September 14th, it appears that Governor Charlie Baker's relatively new administration and the more seasonal administration of President Obama are nearing a multi-year agreement with lasting implications, impacts for healthcare in Massachusetts, and it just goes in for more details. So they're still waiting on that. The board training was on personal care attendance program by Nick Roberts. The personal care attendance program is a consumers-directed program offered by Mass Health. The PCA program provides an opportunity to consumers with permanent or chronic disabilities the freedom and autonomy to manage their own personal care needs while remaining in the community. The PCA program differs from other traditional home care programs because the consumer is the employer. At the employer, the consumer is responsible for recruiting, hiring, and training their own PCA. The consumer is also responsible for completing and submitting timesheets to ensure that the PCA gets paid in a timely manner. It is determined the consumer is unable to manage their own program independently, a surrogate will need to be appointed to manage the program on behalf of the consumer. It could be a family member, friend, or guardian. Each consumer works with a skilled trainer, which is involved with the South Shore, whose primary role is to conduct the initial assessment in addition to educating the consumer or the surrogate about managing the many facts of the PCA program. The skills trainer will evaluate the consumer on an annual basis and work with the consumer to resolve any concerns that arise. And then it goes on to the eligibility, and what is the role, and who can hire the PCA, and what the role of the South Shore Elderly Services is. So it's a whole detailed thing that he told us about.
That's a new program, John?
Yeah, yes, it's fairly, they're changing different things to do with it, because they're trying to get so the spouse can be, which the veterans program they can.
Well, actually, I thought Bobby Kay last month talked about that was an approved program that they could pay a family member to be that.
They can pay a family member, but Mass Health are trying to get them to, so also to a spouse.
I
Some
see.
programs do, like
Because
the
that's right,
veterans.
the spouse
I
is not involved,
I see.
can't be involved.
And he talked about the LTTS law, which is long-term service support. And the long-term service community partner is a community-based, focused on the members that partner with ACOs and NCOs, providers and social services. So they work with other services to support members with complex LTSS needs. And that goes into members and member care. It's mostly members with physical disabilities, brain injuries, dementia, and older adults eligible for manager care 60 to 64. And also ones who have coexisting behavior, health, or complex medical information, and goes into more detail about that. Sandra encouraged the board to have, and it's something we should think about, encouraged the board to have home health care proxies and gave each one a form with a strong instructions to fill them out. And also said that you should make sure your doctor has a copy.
Well, you know, that is part of the Aging Mastery Program I mentioned, that advanced planning, and they will get the forms and be encouraged and have an attorney there, but, you know, we should probably do that just generally and have a second session for just anyone to come to.
I heard, you know, because working people don't realize any age, something could happen. And then the St. Luke's Community Dinner is October 23rd, and it's going to be put on by the Rotary, so we'll probably have a good group. Because it's turkey and gravy and the trimmings and ice cream.
Yum.
Chocolate? Chocolate?
Ice cream with chocolate.
Sauce.
Oh, no, chocolate ice cream.
You know, if we had two different kinds, we'd have, you know how it would be with seniors, don't you?
Can't give anybody a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Joan. Elaine?
Well, our last meeting in September, we got another new member, Michelle Murphy, who is joining, so that brings us up to a total of 6 members. And we will be doing our elections this month, and our meeting is the 20th this month. We've been changing dates for the past couple of months because of conflicts, but, so we're doing it on the 20th. Last month, we talked about the curb cut at Jenkins, which was completed before the school opened, which is very good. And then there's some sort of a design meeting coming up for the walkway that we will be talking about next week. We've had conversations with the ADA coordinator about the Tilden and Countryway trails that are not 100% compliant, ADA compliant. Those conversations are ongoing. I just got an email today from our chairperson who was forwarding an email that was from the town and with the request for us to work with them to perform site surveys throughout the town for things that are going on so that they would be ADA compliant before they were finished instead of after they were finished, which is kind of cost ineffective. And we will be working with them, so that's a very positive outcome for us. So next time I meet, we'll have officers, we hope.
That's it?
That's it?
You meet monthly?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And what is there specific?
It's supposed to be the second Wednesday of the month.
Okay. And you usually meet at Town Hall?
That's an issue.
Oh, okay.
We have a roving meeting. Our meeting was supposed to be at Little Red Schoolhouse, but they're doing major renovations there, so we haven't been able to meet there since, I don't know, spring. So we go wherever we can find a room.
I didn't know they were renovating there. That's inconvenient.
They're doing apparently they've been finding unexpected things.
Problems, I see.
It's not unheard of.
No.
All right. Betty, tell us about Foss's goings-on.
Elaine is a new co-treasurer for FOSS. We had election of co-treasurers this week. Elaine and Barbara McCabe are going to handle that for FOSS, so we're kind of pleased with that. We had a really good month. You know, the singing trooper was a really great success. There were 156 Scituate seniors there, so that was great. And apparently our recent fashion show was a great success. Everybody's talking about the models. Audrey was one. Coming up, the trivia night, the annual trivia night is Friday, October 28th. Tickets are running out. Anybody that needs tickets has to contact Sandy or Carol. I'm not sure how many tickets are left, but no tickets will be sold at the door. We have a transfer station solicitation coming up the 29th and 30th of October. That's the Saturday and Sunday following the trivia night.
Yeah.
And we have quite a few volunteers, but we need some more.
Meaning, what are you going to be doing there?
What is that?
You're going to be standing out
Yeah.
We're
as
standing
people
out there with
drive
our
in, drive out?
sign, as
Collecting
where the
money.
Boy Scouts stand.
Yeah.
We're going to be there with our
Mhm.
sign and our dog biscuits and our bucket. And hopefully we'll get some support for our funding. I think so. I think
The
it's
animal
gonna
shelter
be,
does
I think it's
very
going to
well
be
there.
fun. Yeah. That's about it. We've been doing some activities with the senior center, and that's worked out well. And we've been able to use this facility for a couple of night meetings, and that's been really helpful. That's about it.
You know, my compliments to you and Linda and her staff here at the Singing Trooper Night. As Linda said, it wasn't just the performance, it was just the excitement in the room, and it was really a neat thing to participate with. So thank you all for doing that.
Everybody had a good time.
Has Foss ever thought about doing cans and bottles at the dump?
You know, I've suggested that a few times, and people go, it's
we can
so
do
much
better."
work, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so much, you know, but it's a
a lot
thought.
of money, though.
A
It's
lot.
amazing.
Oh, is it a lot?
Right.
About $4,000 per month.
But you have to
Yeah.
get men involved.
No. Yeah, I was
You
just
have
going
have
to say
trucks.
that.
It's
No.
you need about, I think I'm doing it right now with the FTCC. I think there are like 36 slots where you have to book people into. Well, some people will do 2 or 3 slots, so
Sure,
not like you need
sure.
36 people, but you probably need a good 25 people, 28
Mhm.
people to fill the slots.
Yeah.
And it's
You need a
It's
truck.
certainly
Well, we need more
something that
things
we
for
need to
men.
think about.
You could get July
You
or.
have a truck, right?
Huh?
You have a truck.
Oh, yeah.
there you
I'm
go.
more than happy to
St.
help.
Luke's made
Yeah, we-
$6,000.
we could-
What's that?
St. Luke's made $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, some months can be as high as that.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Methodist
I would
Church.
say
too.
post.
Yeah.
I was involved when the food pantry did it at one time, and I think it was around 6,000 as well.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how the process goes to get involved and who gets what. Do you know, Marty?
I don't know, I mean, I've been called to volunteer, I'll go and do pickups and stuff and
Yeah, I
deliver
mean, but
cans.
how an organization gets involved in the,
You put your name in and it's a
Put in,
lottery.
sign up, and just
Oh, it's a lottery.
start from the cold weather and work backwards,
yeah, right,
because, a lot of the
Oh,
slots
that's
are
how they
taken
do
ahead
it.
of time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Great to do after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
And it's a real, honestly, it's a social event.
Oh, yeah.
If the weather's nice down there, it's a
Sure.
nice social
Well, you never
event.
know.
Right.
Typically, you always have 2 people there doing it, and you
Yeah.
have a good time. It's,
Sure.
It's a 3-hour shift, and it's
And
not
there's usually
bad.
people with trucks that'll volunteer to pick up the bagged
Right.
cans and stuff like that.
Right. No, just a thought for you guys, maybe something
good
to
idea.
think about.
Yeah, we'll bring it up again.
Yeah, okay.
It does get into a lot of money.
All right, Marty?
I don't have anything tonight.
No? Can I ask you something? Maybe
Sure,
this'll-
that's what I was gonna say.
Maybe this will bring something up.
We'll reverse it.
Is it my understanding, and I don't know if this is the proper forum, that was a real estate evaluation done for the Gates property, and is that something you can talk about or not?
I can't
or-
talk about it yet, but
Okay.
as far as I know, we don't have any firm numbers at
Uh-huh.
this point.
Okay.
You don't have any what?
And then there was, the other question is, there was talk of having an evaluation of 4 or 5 different properties in town, that, I think that, was that going to be a contract, that was going to be sent, arranged with somebody to look at those properties?
Yeah, I forget who they were looking at. You're talking in regards to the senior center itself?
Yes,
or
right.
other things?
4 sites.
Okay, yeah.
For the 4, yeah. That hasn't been
So
put out there yet.
We haven't yet.
Feasibility scope of services.
Yeah.
Right.
Is one of the possibilities having if you close an elementary school, having the seniors take over that school?
Yeah. Well, here's...
Not one of the
You'd have to
current
close one of the
considerations.
No, but I'm
schools,
just
no.
saying, there are all I think the reason she's saying that is someone mentioned that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things out there, there's a lot of, well, let's start with the biggest rumor around, right? Is that, obviously, the Pier 44 building is going to be vacant very soon. So, I wasn't going to talk about this tonight, I was going to hold off, but, so the idea of it is, just so everybody kind of clears the air a little bit, when I first ran for office, a lot of seniors wanted Pier 44. Now, a lot of seniors don't want Pier 44, and I understand both sides. But the idea of, if we were to move the COA or the seniors in there, it would be on a temporary basis. It has to be. It can't be on a permanent basis, because the library could be only on a temporary basis. So what I'm saying is, while the air is clearing on what we're going to do, the gates or this or that, does the town have a stomach for $30 million right now or a year from now to be able to do the whole gates project? So we just have to look at what can we do. We're trying to be fiscally responsible, but also looking at an empty Pier 44 where you guys are still sort of stuck down here.
So it might become an administrative decision that's effective and
Correct,
efficient,
right,
as
which would
opposed to
say,
a long-term.
we have an empty building, we're looking at maybe, and I don't know this, because all these things are still out there as far as, what's this worth? What's going on with that? I mean, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, nobody should be concerned about if we did go to Pier 44 on a temporary, it would be a temporary basis, because everybody knows that because of the way that it was purchased with the funding, it can be temporary, it has to be sort of a multi-use thing. So, that's just something to look at. It's 8,700 square feet. It's going to be sitting pretty much empty. We should be using it for something. And again, more on a temporary basis.
Yeah.
Not in good shape.
Huh?
Not in good shape.
Have you been in it lately?
Oh, yeah, the library did a lot.
I did a tour the other day just to get an idea of how it would work. And if everybody remembers Pier 44 the way it was, they got rid of the kitchen, but all the plumbing and everything is still available. So you could actually put a very nice kitchen in there. There's a lot of possibilities that we have to look at, and it's, you know,
I guess my only comment is that, and I took this from the Mariner article a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, and I think the quote was, we might need to look at a temporary, or, no, a short-term solution for the COA. I'm concerned with short-term solutions. Short-term solutions in this town tend to be long-term
Long-term
solutions.
possible, right.
And I just hope we don't lose
Never get
the
out.
Right.
we don't lose the sight of, you know, what some of the discussions were over the past year about
Right.
what a good long-term solution would be. If we need a short-term solution, let's really make it a short-term solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
sort of put a timestamp on it to
Yeah.
figure out what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
But as the study that everybody's talking about, there's a lot of possibilities where pieces have to fall into place, and the housing authority's involved in one possible aspect. So we're looking at all of those different things and not really, can't really say much about it yet,
Yeah.
because we don't have any solid answers.
Yeah.
You know?
Good.
But I just think, again, so that nobody should be concerned that's it, if the senior center becomes there and it's out of here, it's not going to be there for a long period of time. You know? But it's definitely, I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? It's definitely a step up from the building we're
Absolutely.
sitting in right now.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a lot of things that could be done there. But Audrey, you should take a walk through the whole building just to see. I forget how many hundreds of thousands of dollars have been put into there.
Well,
A ton of
100
money.
100 for
Put
the
in
library.
4 roofs.
I think
that
they did a
I'm
nice
aware
job.
of.
I think
Four
the
times
roof was
actually.
nice.
In the same spot. But yeah, that's not good business, but the inside really looks very nice.
Oh, I think for the library, it's magnificent. Sit there and read and look at the water.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just-
I'm sure they'd add walls
still
for
do
us and a
that.
kitchen. We need
Well,
a
that's,
kitchen.
yeah, there would certainly be some money that would have to, there would have to be some changes. But the shell of the building and everything, most of the leaks and all that stuff has been taken care of. From what I hear with the new roof, although we haven't had enough rain to really prove it. But, you know, it's just something, I don't want anybody to be concerned
Yeah,
that
it really
that
is.
it's the Pier 44, that this is it, you know?
I think everybody has a lot of fond memories of
We do.
Yeah.
Pier 44.
It's a very pretty
Oh, yeah,
spot.
I do. I miss
Sure.
Pier 44,
Yeah.
personally. But, you know, again, it's going to be an empty building.
Yeah.
We need to do something with it.
Well, you know, we certainly appreciate your involvement in the whole process and
Yeah.
your feeling. You,
Accessible.
I think you understand the need, I think you understand the need of the long-term solution, so.
Right, exactly.
And I know that a good number of the selectmen do feel that way, so. it's
Absolutely.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, we need a senior center. We
Yeah.
don't, you know, we don't need a temporary senior center. We didn't need a library that was operating out of a trailer, you know? And it seemed to do pretty well for the library, so, again, it's, you know, it's a very base inside.
Yeah. There are a lot of
We
moving
need
parts
a
right now.
better
There are,
factor.
there are,
Yeah.
there are.
And while
But,
we're
you know,
waiting-
coming up soon, and
While
the
we're
initial
waiting.
report was by the end of this year that basically the library would be, the construction part will be completed, and then they'll start doing the finishing on the inside.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it opening at the beginning of March, which means obviously the other building becomes empty. you know. So,
Good.
anyway, that's actually what I was going to talk about tonight, so you got it out of me.
Well, thank you.
Glad you
Anyone
did.
have any questions of Marty, or?
You got any questions about anything?
Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I
And,
do
you
have
know,
a question. Was it a recent decision for the planning board to be sending out updates on all the different buildings that are going on? And the rate of construction, about how much they're completed? It just went out like
I
yesterday.
can't really speak for
The
that.
email-
I've just a
emails?
few, like
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get on the list, you'll get those
Yeah.
updates.
Right, right.
They've been out before, because
I've
I don't
never
even
seen
remember
them
seeing
before.
them.
No, I've just seen them recently.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I
okay.
am,
Yeah.
yeah. They have,
That
I
was
think
awesome.
that was pretty
140
involved.
with the
That's a
estimate.
really involved update, and I think that's must be what they do.
That's
Wait
not
till
even
there's a
right.
lot more information to give out
Right.
versus
right.
just like a little bit every week.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Because it's like
I thought it
periodically.
It was great to see
Yeah.
all the different
Right,
updates
right.
and how they're coming along and
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they're, you know, public safety is
You know,
zipping
it's-
right along.
Yeah.
It's in a bit of an aside, but maybe for the benefit and the welfare, good mindset of our seniors. Can you bring us up to date on the water issue and how we're looking there?
Much better.
Yeah?
Pretty darn
We
good.
went from what, 22% to about, well, it went up, what, 4
Yeah.
4 inches?
Yeah.
I think we're about
Uh-huh.
25% now.
Yeah, but then, of course, your groundwater levels are up too.
Mm-hmm.
So which obviously helps matters. But
So all the restrictions are still in effect?
all the restrictions, and they really need to stay in effect.
Mhm.
Cohasset was partnering up with us. We were going to buy water from them. We did a hookup down on Summer Street.
Uh-huh.
And then, I haven't heard officially, but I talked to somebody from their DPW, and he told me that they had a water break when they were doing something down in the center, and they lost about 9 inches in the reservoir. So that was millions of gallons of water. So I told Kevin Cafferty, I said, you better check with them, make sure, you know.
It was in the
Any
Mariner
talk
today that we
about
signed
buying?
it.
Oh, yeah, no, we did sign it,
Yeah.
but it's just a matter of whether they have the water. But we should be okay, you know, as long, people have been just great. I mean, people have been conserving. I mean, I know myself, it's, you know, you think about everything. You know, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're taking a shower, and I don't know if anybody saw Al Bankert's thing that he put on SCTV, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you turn your shower on, it's too cold.
Yeah.
But save the water, either use it for plants, use it for whatever you want to use
Yeah.
it, but don't let it go down the drain.
Yeah.
You know, you can use it to flush the toilet, which, you know,
In
most people.
in town is selling rain barrels too, I saw, right?
Yes, yeah, they'll be available, I think, are they available
Yeah.
already?
Oh, I thought they were giving them away.
No,
No,
no.
No?
There's a limited.
$55.
But I just think once those, if people come in and buy those, there'll be more
Like the
available,
first
you know?
3,000 people to show up get rain
They're
barrels.
limited to one per family.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, that's a, I mean, but the other thing is you have to have
Yeah,
rain,
rain.
to use a rain barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I looked at that, I said, wait a minute, rain barrels? We haven't had any rain.
You'd be
Well, I
amazed
have
how
always
fast
had-
they
I've had
fill.
pool.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I got full rain barrels when
On Saturday.
half an inch fell.
really,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I've had 2 rain barrels in it, you know, but now that, you know, you're not going to be having gardens and stuff right now. so-
Right, exactly.
Well, we put a big bucket under our drip from our air conditioner. It's amazing. I think it's a 4-gallon bucket.
That's
It
beautiful.
fills up like in 2 days.
Yeah, now that you'd probably just want to use for plants and
Yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah.
But, yeah, no, there's a lot of things that you can do.
Are there any wells we can buy?
Well, we're looking into well research
Refurbish.
on some land that was purchased with CPC funds. There's one particular one that I was talking to Frank Snow about the other day, that we possibly could put another well there. And then as everybody's heard, actually, it's one of the town meeting articles. I hope we get some people at town meeting, this is getting ridiculous. But one of them is refurbishment of one of the wells.
Going
It's
on
just a
Old
money
Driftway?
transfer.
Old Driftway?
Well number
Refurbishment or-
20. No, it's refurbished. What happened was it had collapsed about, I don't have the dates with me, but it was never a big issue, but then all of a sudden it became an issue because we need it. So it's refurbished. So basically it kind of collapsed, and so they have to redo the walls and all that stuff.
Is that the one for the high school in
No,
Cushing
that's a
Field?
totally different.
That's a different
thing.
article.
That's a different,
That's a digging a new one, right?
Right.
That's
600
exactly,
feet.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason they go down to that depth is it just takes from a different water source.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, an expert on that stuff, but I just know that Doug Litchfield had said that his water probably comes from, I forget what he said, some faraway
Doug
place.
knows.
So.
Yeah, and
But-
his is more than 600 feet.
Yes.
Doug's well.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so that well, obviously, hopefully, everything works out with it, but that would take care of both the fields, And then they're gonna hopefully go to an alternative source of having some sort of a tank that they can have, to hold excess water,
Is desalination ever talked about?
If you talk to people from MIT.
Unlimited supply of water out there.
If you talk to people from MIT, it's amazing. They're coming up with this thing that it's done through a vibration technique or something. Again, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But it's, some people say, oh, that wouldn't work, blah, blah, blah. But supposedly they're working on this thing where they use some sort of either electrostatic and vibration or something, and it actually takes the salt out of the water. So it has to make sense.
It seems like some
At some point, it has to make
community
sense.
At some point,
Yeah.
I know San Diego had one at one point. I don't know if it's still operational or not, but they built one some years ago.
Right.
And I thought the Dutch had one.
They might. I don't know.
I tell you, I mean, like you said, we have two issues. We have
Too much water
rising
out there.
sea, and we
Yeah.
have no water. So it's kind of, got to turn that water into, it's certainly potable water.
They do that in Aruba.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, great, thank you, it was a good discussion.
I got it, thank you.
Is that something
Oh.
the summary focus groups on?
Right, well, just something I thought I would or could do. It's not major, and I talked a little bit about it last time. But see, I could do this again. Does it come up? Isn't that great?
Well, that's pretty good,
Isn't
huh?
that pretty?
So I wish we
Anyway.
had those in the selectmen's room that worked.
Well, on a good day, and we could even have music playing in the background.
Right.
But anyway, I had mentioned, and I think you all knew, I did a focus group, or had a focus group, asked for a focus group in August. So we probably had about a dozen people come at least. And the reason for my doing it, is we make a lot of effort in planning, coordinating, publicizing, and organizing events and activities. And, we just wanted to make that time as worthwhile as possible, because it is such a great effort sometimes to make. And we want to find the mark with people. And, maybe I felt like we might be missing it, or just wanted to certainly increase it and know how and when. We're catering to a wide variety. I've mentioned it before. The younger seniors, we want baby boomers, and yet we don't want to neglect or not consider the needs and different desires that some of the older adults might still have. So we're just asking for specific areas of interest, whether we needed to change our priorities or some things that we might not currently be doing or maybe need to do more of. And obviously, to increase participation increases awareness and support. So also thinking about what we can do now, and not just what we'll do when we have a better senior center. But, the numbers now are really going to dictate how many people will be on board when we really need them for voting. So, first thing I asked for what brings people into the senior center now, and they like a lot of the things that we're doing. People are starting to come to the movies. They do like that a couple of times a month, and if we're choosing good, interesting movies, then they're coming in. Field trips, they do love the field trips, actually, and I even just had a few women stop me today who consider themselves, baby boomers, interested, ready. They want the long trips. They want to really be doing some fun things. They want fun. Basically, they said, we want fun. So that was good to hear. They weren't at the focus group, but, that's good.
Like a New York trip over
Like
Christmas.
a New York trip, Newport, New Hampshire, wherever, I suppose. And what I did say to them is, and we have some ideas, or maybe we're given some ideas, but truthfully, the resources, the staff, namely, can't do it all. So we need volunteers. Like a more lifelong learning would be more committee-driven, would be more volunteer-driven, or the idea of larger trips. That's a volunteer activity. I am planning and hope to have a tax work-off program, which might help, and that could maybe be dedicated to something like this. But it just really is, the staff resources are already stretched, so either you move into something else and you drop, or it's hard anyway. But they do love, even the trips we've been doing, people really do enjoy them, and it's been worthwhile. And again, that boils down to transportation in the end, and the vans and the money there. But anyway, so they come in for, look, exercise is big, of course. Some of the social gatherings, I think the technology training, different things that we've done have definitely been well met. Biggest reason for not coming to the senior center, some said, and I know that's true, only if something interests them, so that's where we're going with this, is, well, what does interest you then? But the other two reasons are basically the parking and the building, which it's exasperating and discouraging for us. It's been long enough I've been here, so that it's hard. Ideas for programs, they come fast and furious, and basically it just means more work. I mean, we would and could do all these things. More programming for men, maybe, cards and different things. But you can only schedule so much in this space. And believe it or not, there is a poker game that goes on at St. Luke's. I don't know how sanctioned it really is, but I think they do it even if we told them they couldn't. It's just we can't watch
They're
them.
always having fun, I know that.
So I think that came out of softball or something, and they used to do it at the community center, and they do it. It's just not really. We have started bridge, but I've been advertising maybe for chess or other things. It's just, it takes time to build these things and for people to see the ideas that we have. Luncheons with celebrity personalities. That would be great. So if anybody knows any, we would do that. Or guest chefs, which is a doable thing. That is a nice thing once if the kitchen's up and running. We could ask some of the restaurants to be included, or other people who just like to cook. Repairing fix-it classes, wood carving, I would love that, but again, space. Cooking for one, we've talked about that, again, we need a kitchen. Discussion groups or lifelong learning, or actually, I was also stopped at the supermarket because I was buying food for our Aging Mastery program, and really, a few of the women there were interested, but needed us to do it at night, needed us to do more at night, because a lot of seniors, and whatever the label,
Of working.
means to different people. I said, in Scituate, nobody's a senior. That's basically what I've determined. But we could do things at night, but we'd have to stretch again the staff and change hours and do. But it's fun, and we have started to do a few things at night, which they like. So cafe talk requests, lifelong learning, general suggestions. Really, it just became more different, better, which we'd like to be able to keep up with if we could. So that was positive. The negative really is just the building and the space, and ideally, we would get more participation if people could come to an activity and also see what else was going on in the center.
Right.
And realize, that would be nice, I didn't know they did that, or that would be fun, I think
That
I'll try that
attracts.
next time. I mean, that's a lot, and even luncheon people, if we were to have them on a regular basis, would do the same. They did mention more partnerships if we could do them, which we're always trying to, and we are beginning to, as you've heard. And, of course, they did talk about what would be great for the new building. So, certain things, more recreation opportunities, bocce courts, a labyrinth. I mean, these are things that develop over time once you have the space, and we know that. We know there's lots of things that we would
A
do more.
question, do you think if we went into the larger space temporarily, that your population would grow and then sort of snowball into the
I
next
do
phase?
believe that it would intrigue enough
I
people,
do
like
too.
people walk
I do
through the
too.
library right now, even if
I
they
do
maybe
too.
weren't
I was
going.
surprised at how great the library is. I really was. Very comfortable to
So,
be there.
It would be helpful, obviously, if some money could be spent on it for some
And they've
architectural
gotten
changes.
people there that never gone to the other library.
I know.
Right, exactly.
Oh, well, it's so convenient, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Have to grab
Right.
something.
And then when you did the Tai Chi there, we were looking at the water,
I-
it was delightful.
What could be better, that is true. That is true, that will increase, Tai Chi will probably increase.
It will.
We need more.
Well, that's what I think, maybe,
Yeah.
that would entice more
Right.
people to come, and I think
Right.
the key thing you said was that if you have different things going on, that gets people more interested, because
does.
it's just, we could do one thing at a time here.
Well, even
And,
just,
people come in and out.
It's-
I mean, sometimes we'll have a volunteer who then obviously also gets to see what's going on and might become interested in something. But, just coming in the door and being welcomed and having an opportunity to see what we do would be
Right.
great, especially if you have exercise, some craftings, lunch, Tai Chi, lifelong learning, all at the same time. You have to have enough people. But anyway, so, the conclusions, obviously, the space is an issue, the resources from the staff is an issue, limited opportunity to see what's going on is an issue, and just wanting to become a home away from home, but not really being able to offer that. Sometimes people will come in during other activities, and it is hard to manage that. But we do our best, and I will say, right off the top, people have been so flexible and good-natured about what they know is a challenge for us as well as them, and they just, everybody's living with it for the time being, but it is great. So, I think it did what I hoped it would do. I know that people are just maybe interested in ideas and are happy to bring them, so we need a suggestion box so that people can come and just drop their ideas in there and they won't be forgotten or overlooked. So, thank you. That's really about what I
Thank you.
think we might.
And Lucille, the history of other centers, I know some people have been, I've been to, I think, 6 or 7 on the South Shore now, is that to lean on an old phrase, if you build it, they'll come. And they do. When other towns have built, current up-to-date senior centers, their attendance skyrockets. So,
Yes.
I hear people sometimes around town say, I don't think I would ever want to go there,
I know.
but it's like the library. I have heard a lot of people say, I never went into the library on Branch Street, but I've been into that library down there. So I'm assuming they'll go into Branch Street when it's done.
Wait till they
They'll
see
really
the
be
new one,
excited
yeah.
about it. I think the same thing happens with the center. John Catlin, I know Marty heard a couple of, and probably Linda heard a couple of his discussions also. He says, when people come to a center and when there are multiple activities going on, they say, oh, yeah, there's something going on there.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll come and do that next time. So,
Exactly.
the interest in the center definitely would skyrocket. There's no doubt in my mind that it would. So, it happens elsewhere, it will happen here. Do we have any old business? Ted? bring
No,
up
I
and
don't-
discuss, or?
I don't think so. I don't think anything had come up that was.
Not for nothing, I like your flowers. Is that a gift for
Yeah, are
somebody?
those real?
They are not real, and that was
They're not
just,
real?
you know what, they just came yesterday. They're not real, but someone did donate them. who
They're
had,
lovely.
you know, A little
It looks
color,
real.
Just
a little more
lovely.
color never hurt. So, it was very nice, thank you for noticing.
So if we have no old business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. If someone wants to make that.
To adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, adjourn.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks.
everybody.
Good meeting.
Everybody?